Start. Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back. Today, I'd like to talk about the pity system in FGO. I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, but basically, I was kind of waiting to see how they would go about implementing the class-specific banners that we just got in the English server. The reason why I was waiting for this is because since we got the pity system early, I was wondering, are they going to do the same thing with the class banners? Because they're definitely going to change this, and they kind of did. So how they did it is, rather than sticking to the new system where it has pity, pities do not count. I mean, summons do not count to the guaranteed summon. And you know this, if you're familiar with the new pity system in FGO, for every 330 summons or 900 Saint Quartz, you basically get the raid up servant guaranteed. But what they did here is that since none of the servants are guaranteed, technically there is no pity for any of these banners. So I'm like, okay, you implement a pity system, and for this class banner, which is nice for newer players, don't get me wrong, this is a bait banner, but like sometimes for newer players who don't have that many servants, this is kind of a nice banner to really, like, you know, peruse who's on it and make a decision to try to summon those servants. I mean, sure, it's a huge pool of servants still, but at least I feel like it would probably be better for newer players. But again, I was thinking, you implement a pity system, but you don't put it here because it just goes to show how broken, or I feel how incomplete the FGO pity system is. But, you know, and also another thing, I guess, with the pity system is like whenever I'm streaming, right, or whenever I do summons, and when people in chat chime in saying that they've done 30 summons, 100, or maybe even like 300 Saint Quartz, 500, etc., I rarely see anybody say that they went all the way to pity when doing summons, and that's probably because that would only apply to, you know, whales, or, you know, not everybody can make a firm commitment to save Saint Quartz for such a long period of time, not summoning on any banner. Although the argument is like a lot of people are saving up for the LB6 banners, but anyways, but like, you know, that's a hard commitment. There's a lot of temptation you'd have to resist, and it takes, although, you know, it takes quite a while to save up for all the way to pity, enough Saint Quartz or summon tickets to pity, but it is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying it is difficult, and you know, you are kind of missing out on summoning for characters while waiting, you know, while saving up for pity for the main character that you would like to get. But you know, I feel like that there are so many things that they can fix with the pity system, and like, and this just goes to show, like, if you have to set up a banner, a bunch of banners, and yet you're not able to implement a guaranteed summon or pity system because of how broken or how incomplete this pity system is, I feel like the devs really need to make changes to the pity system. That's why, but then again, that's why I was waiting for this banner to see how they would treat it, because I saw this coming, but I just didn't want to say anything because it was, I don't know, it felt like it was obvious that even though we got the pity system early, they wouldn't change this and they wouldn't include the pity system. But I just wanted to see, because I don't think we've ever gotten a class banner in JP since the pity system was introduced, and I wanted to see how they would go about this. And again, no pity system for these class banners, which is a shame. But kind of predictable. So, how would you go about fixing that? How could the devs fix pity? I mean, a lot of people have probably already had like a bunch of ideas. For me, I feel like the easiest way to fix pity would be to make it, carry over. Like, that's number one. Carry over pity. You could have a pity system for the limited banners, and it would always carry over to the next one. But then you think, like, what happens if there are more than one limited servant on raid up and separate banners? Would they have their own pity system, and then it would be carried over? Would they add up? So, in a way, probably make pity account bound for limited servants or raid up servants. Another thing you could probably do is just like have because like you do have story banner, just make story banner have its own pity. I mean, it would be great if the story banner had its own pity, but by default the story banner does not. So I was thinking, have pity be an account-wide system where it would apply to characters on raid up. So like even if you summon like 100 times on banner 1 and then summon 200 times on banner 2, you'd still get a chance of getting pity on either banner because you've already summoned 300 times. All you need to do was just summon the last 30 on the banner that you really wanted to summon on. But yeah, I felt like have the pity system be account bound. So, that's just one way. I feel like that would be like the easiest fix, right? That would be the easiest fix to the pity system. That way they wouldn't feel so restricted on a bunch of the banners. Like right now, if there are multiple 4-stars on raid up, we don't have a rotation for the 4-stars because banners pretty much will stay up as is, and if there's any changes to those banners, the pity resets, which kind of sucks. So I feel like having a pity system where it's account bound, or it's a total of all of the servants that are on raid up at a given time, and it would just be a counter, like and also it'd be nice if they give a pity counter, because like right now you can only see like your history of the items or the summons you've done, but you can't really see how many times or how soon you are to reaching pity. That would be nice if they had a counter system for the pity. A lot of gacha games do that, sure. But like that's what I would go with. I have seen a bunch of other people say like this like another option. So like the number 2. Like, reduce the amount of summons needed for the guaranteed. So, reduce the pity. Like, because right now, in FGO, it's 330. The problem I could see with reducing pity to a lower number is that it may not necessarily fix the problem. I mean, sure, it will be easier to reach the pity, but again, you'd still have the problem of you'd have to make the commitment to save your summon Saint Quartz, your summon tickets. And one drawback I could see is that it may affect, or it may make the developers change the way they give us rewards in terms of Saint Quartz and summons. Because like right now, they give us quite a lot. You can really rack up a lot of summons if you just save, and developers like for almost every event, social media campaign, live stream, they give a lot of Saint Quartz summon tickets, download campaigns, etc., etc., which is nice, especially for those who want to summon more. But if they lower the pity, I can see them reducing the amount of rewards that they would give out. The problem with that is a lot of players will get mad, and players will notice that you have been giving less and less rewards. Players will notice that. And the devs don't want that, of course. So I don't see lowering the pity as an option without affecting how the devs give us rewards. I mean, you can see a lot of people comparing FGO to Genshin, especially when FGO got its pity system. You'd look at Genshin where, okay, you have 180 summons. I mean, sure, it's 90, but you have the 50% chance on the 90 pulls, and then there's that soft pity. But it's really 180 to get guaranteed of a 5-star that's on rate up. So, which is basically like half of FGO's 330, if anything, more than half. But the thing is, like, I play Genshin, not as much nowadays though, but like I still keep track of Genshin, and the developers for Genshin don't give much. I mean, Hoyoverse does not give much in terms of summons to reward their player base, especially considering like how much the game has made for the developers. They don't reward the player base to match the earnings that they've had. So I feel like, unfortunately, while I do enjoy Genshin, I feel like Hoyoverse is very stingy with regards to rewarding player base with like summons and such. Unlike with FGO, yeah, you can keep getting rewards almost on a weekly basis depending on what the developers are doing, and which is a nice thing. So I feel like, for me specifically, I feel like I have more opportunity to try to get the characters on rate up because I have more currency to summon with. Unlike with Genshin, I really have to, like, you're basically forced to save for a character that you want, because if you don't, you won't have enough currency to get that character. Because it feels like, and that's another thing, I guess, the summoning experience, I would say, between Genshin and FGO. I know I'm making a lot of comparisons between the two games, but like, ever since, like, I've always been thinking about it. Like with Genshin, I feel like I will always hit pity. But with FGO, there's always the chance. I feel like every time I do a multi, there is always a chance I could get lucky and get the character early. With Genshin, I don't have that. I'm looking at the summon and like, okay, purple. Okay, gold, sure. Typical. So I feel like with Genshin, when I'm doing summons, like, I'm just waiting to hit pity. With FGO, I feel like I'm gonna get it, right? But, you know, that's just me. Other players' experience may vary, but that's just my 2 cents. So I feel like, you know, while FGO's pity may be high, we are given more opportunities to summon. So I feel like I'm okay with FGO having a slightly higher pity. Yes, yeah. But who knows? They might reduce it in the future. I just hope that they don't. It doesn't affect the amount of rewards or summons we get from the developers, per se. Another thing, I guess. So that's number 2, right? So we have option 1, make pity account bound. Option 2 is reduce the amount of summons needed for guaranteed. And I guess another option would be, like, make the pity system character specific. Because characters sometimes do come back. And, like, if you already spent 100 summons on that character, but their banner goes away, and then when the character comes back, you could do the remaining 230 summons on that banner. And, like, you know, this would kind of also fix the rotating 4-star problem, because, like, that's one of the problems with the current pity system. Like, as I mentioned earlier, we don't get the rotating 4-stars anymore. But if it's a character specific 5-star rate up that has like the pity counter, they could still do the whole, you know, rotating 4-stars, which we used to have before the pity system was implemented. So maybe having the pity be specific to the rate up character, that might fix it in a way. But again, I feel like number 1 would just be an overall easier thing to do. But that's another option that the devs could do. Make the character, and make the pity or guaranteed character specific. But, oh well, who knows. I guess another thing, and then, yeah, so that's number 3. Number 4, I mean, this is not really tied to the whole overall system. This is more of something like I've thought of. Like, we have 5-star character pity. What about the 4-stars? Will 4-star characters be given a summon pity? And like, at what number would that be? Would that be at like a 4-star character, a rate up character every 30 summons? Who knows? But like, I've always thought, like, entertained the idea of, I mean, it would be great if they would add a 4-star character pity, but then again, with the way FGO works, oh, that's another thing. FGO's pity only works once. Once you use up that pity, everything after that is basically RNG. Oh, if you get the rate up character once, that's it. Everything after that, there is no pity. So even if they do add a 4-star character pity, if there are multiple 4-stars, and if they make the pity work only once, good luck trying to get the other character if there are multiple 4-stars on rate up. But, you know, I figured, I would like to see if they would probably add, like, I could, like, maybe hope that they add a 4-star character pity. Now, how will they do it? I don't know. Will they do it the same as the as the 5-star where it only works once, or will they allow it to work multiple times over the span of a banner? I mean, they did change the rate ups for the 4-stars, so more often than not, you will get the character 4-star character on rate up rather than a spook character. I forget when, but I know it was very recently that they changed the 4-star pity. But, you know, I just thought about it and then I figured why not add it here. But I realistically, I feel like if they just made, like, if the developers go with option 1 and make the pity system account bound, or basically, you know, any rate up banner would count towards the guaranteed, rather than the guarantee summon be tied to that specific banner. Like, you know, as long as you do a summon, you will get a count on your guarantee, and then once you hit the guaranteed, you get the servant. I wish it would be more than once. Because, like, if you think about it, I heard, I remember Cad saying this on stream ages ago. Like, imagine, even if you hit pity 5 times, that's still 4,500 Saint cards. That's still a lot. So, like, why not just have it be available multiple times? Why does it have to be restricted to only one time? Right? So, yeah. But anyways, that's just me. That's just my rant on the pity system. Like, I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but yeah, I held off on making it because I was hoping to wait for the class banner, see how would they go about doing it, and they pretty much just didn't implement a pity system for the class banners. So I'm like, boy, if your pity system or guaranteed summon doesn't work for all your banners, I feel like you kind of need to change a bit, you know? But that's just me. Oh yes, and then another option for a pity system is I like Nikkei's pity system. Essentially, every time you summon on a banner, you're given a, well, what Nikkei calls it, a milestone. And then you can just keep summoning on a banner, and you just keep getting milestones. Whenever you reach 300 milestones, you can spend that on whoever character you want. So, like, for example, right now, you just want to summon, and the moment you get 300 milestones, okay, sure, I'll just save it for a character that I really want. Whether I got the character on rate up on the banner, it doesn't affect the number of milestones I have. And then eventually, when there is a character I want to summon for, and yet I don't have any gacha currency left, I just spend the milestones and then get the character instantly. Yeah, I feel like Nikkei's system is a very good one. And, you know, it kind of helps with FGO's high pity count of 330. So yeah, in essence, like, you would just have to summon 330 times. You'd get 330, I don't know what FGO would call it, but yeah, you can get 330 milestone and then exchange it for the character. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, FGO's USO system, but instead of it counting every higher than NP5 servant, you'd get a USO, let's say USO beta. You get a USO beta every time you do a summon, and then rather than having, you know, like, you'd probably get, like, let's say 330 USO betas, then you can get the character you want. Because that was, in case if anybody here doesn't know, FGO did have a pity system before this, you know, the guaranteed summons, but it was a terrible system. It was called the USO system, which stands for Unregistered Spirit Origin. So basically, every time you would get a character, a 5-star character above NP5, you'd get 1 USO, and you needed 10 USOs to exchange for one character that was in its own shop. It would have the rate up character and then the permanent list of characters. So, I mean, we could have something similar where you get USO beta, but it would add every time you would do a summon. And then eventually, when you get a certain number of summons, you can get the character. That's another pity system that we could take into account. That way, you don't lose progress whenever you summon. Even if you don't hit pity, or even if you don't get the character, you still have those milestones or USO beta. And yeah, it would, like, give us another way of you know, saving up summons or summoning for characters while still progressing towards a character that we wanted. So yeah, and kudos to chat for pity fix number 4. But yeah, like, and like, because like how pity works is like whenever you get the servant, like, pity is reset, like, and it's only one time. So even if you get the character at like summon number 329, if you get the character on rate up, if you summon 330, yeah, you're not gonna get the character. So with the milestone system, you would get the character at 329, and summoning on 330 would give you enough milestones to be able to get the character again, or any character that you like from the shop, because you've already reached 330 pulls. So I feel like the milestone system would definitely be nice. I'm sure other gacha games have that system as well, but Nikkei is my Nikkei is the game where I have experienced that. Tower of Fantasy does that. Tower of Fantasy also has that system. I just hate it that in Tower of Fantasy, if you don't use, I forget what they call it in Tower of Fantasy. If you don't use it on that banner, it gets converted to regular. It gets converted to a regular currency. So it feels like rather than building the milestones for the limited character, if you don't use it on that banner, it will get converted to milestones for the regular banner. So it's kind of a missed opportunity if you don't summon enough in the first place. So that's why I kind of like Nikkei's system better, where as long as you summon on any limited banner, you get limited milestones, and you could use that limited milestone on future banners. So I feel like that's definitely a better system. Anyways, if you guys have anything, to suggest, or things that I have might missed, or that you would like to let me know, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I do try to read the comments. And, thanks for watching, YouTube. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.